Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you yet again another anime favorites video segment right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. As always, I'm here to bring you the latest in this month's anime favorite. Now, a few things before I jump into this anime favorites video. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you all who watched and commented on my first discussion of the week video. I was actually surprised with how many comments I did get in the first 24 hours of that upload, and it was very interesting to see a lot of you all's insight and input on that whole situation. It was really cool seeing the different, how it wasn't just, so many people agreed or so many people disagreed, but everyone had like their own reasoning. It was really cool seeing, how all of that came about. It was really cool. It was real interesting, and I'm really looking forward to that segment. See if we can get some more, responses like that going. Also, okay, well, that's the first thing. Second thing, in case this video comes across as a little incoherent at times, I have been drinking, and that's mainly because for any of you all who are football fans, New Orleans Saints lost in the NFC divisional round today to the San Francisco 49ers. So yeah, I kicked a couple back after that, but I will say it was a good game. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be, and Saints got to make some corrections. That defense ain't what it used to be. And, as the old saying goes, offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. So, got to correct that defense. And also, I do, say what you will about me, being a Saints fan, but I'll be the first to let you all know, San Francisco deserved the win. They did, because that defense was on lock. Their offense showed the hell up. I mean, you could tell they were hungry. You could tell that they wanted it. They played their asses off. They deserved the win. I'm not one of those Saints fans who'll be like, man, fuck the 49ers, man. Oh, fuck them. The refs was cheating, and it was cold outside, and the field was damp, and we used to playing indoors. No, I'm not going to make all them fucking excuses, because the point is this. We played the best arguably. Well, I don't even know if that's arguably. I think statistically it's true. San Francisco's the best defense in the league. We played the best defense in the league, and them niggas won by 5 points. I'd say that was a pretty damn good game. So, San Francisco, congratulations to you all. And I will actually be rooting for you all in the NFC Championship game, because I don't like the Giants nor the Packers. So, I will be rooting for you all. Hopefully, though, my boys in Gillette could shut down Denver, in that whole Tebow streak going on here, and then shut you guys down in the Super Bowl. So, anywho, but with all that said, it's time to jump into my anime favorites video for the month of January 2012. Now, this is going to be a much different anime favorite video than most of you all used to, because this is the first series on my favorites list that, number one, I've only seen once, and number two, I haven't completed. And this is what I mean when I say this. Of course, I'm talking about Shaman King. The thing with me and Shaman King, though, I've only seen Shaman King and the anime. I've only seen the anime in its entirety once. And I haven't finished the manga. So, and I haven't seen it in a very long time. So a lot of this video will be drawing from the good old memory bank. Because unlike my DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, and Inuyasha anime favorites, which I've seen all of those series multiple times, and I've read the mangas multiple times, Shaman King isn't the case. Now, Shaman King is my number 5 favorite anime of all time, but keep in mind, like I said, I've only watched the series once, and I haven't finished the manga. And then also, you all who are fans of Shaman King, you will know that there are some discrepancies in between the anime and the manga. Because the anime does not end like the manga ends. And also, from what I found out, there was a sequel to the manga that came out not too long ago, a couple of years ago. And I haven't even read that. I read about it, but I haven't read it. So I'm going to try and do this video as best I can, drawing from the good old memory bank. And yes, this video will be much more rooted in nostalgia rather than a critical analysis. You follow? Okay, so a brief summary of what Shaman King is about. Okay, long story short, simple and plain. Shaman King is the story of a boy named Yo Asakura, who comes from a family of shamans. Shamans, of course, for anyone who knows anything about shamans, they are people who are connected to the supernatural and who are connected to the spiritual world. What I mean is this: they can see ghosts, they can see spirits, they can communicate with them, they can perform exorcisms, they can perform seances, and of course, like Yo, he has the ability to partner up with the spirits and to use them to fight alongside of him, to become a spirit ally in what is known as the Shaman Fight. The Shaman Fight is a grand tournament where I forget what the qualifications in order to qualify for the Shaman Fight. I forget what they are, but I believe the Shaman Fight occurs every century. I believe that's right, every 100 years. Or it could be 50 years. I think it's 100 years. And I think it's 100 years. You see what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to pull from my memory. Now, of course, a lot of you all would have said, well, Larry, you should have read up on this before you did the video. But the video's not about, like I said, this video is not supposed to be grounded in any type of critical analysis. It's about me telling you why this series is my favorite. That's the whole point of the anime favorites video. But getting back to the brief summary. So yes, the story centers around Yo Asakura and his best friend Manta, I'm trying to remember Manta's English name, because one thing about Shaman King, which actually does kind of tick me off a bit, is that the English dub of Shaman King, they changed so much about the series from the original Japanese manga. Especially the names. A lot of the names are different. For an example, Manta, his name in the English dub isn't Manta. It's shit, I forget what his name is in the English dub of the anime. Anywho, but as I discuss the characters, I will mention their Japanese name and their English name. So anyway, like I said, brief summary, once again, trying to get back on track, is that Yo Asakura is a teenage shaman, and it just so happens that the story picks up in the year of the next Shaman Fight. Yo enters the Shaman Fight in the hopes to becoming the Shaman King. Now, the Shaman King is the winner of the Shaman Fight, and it's signified, well, the prize, and also it's signified by that shaman's ability to partner up with the King of Spirits. Wait, King of, is that what, was that his name? The King of Spirits? I think that was. And pretty much the King of Spirits is a lot like the Shaman King's universe God. It's their version of God for the most part. And if memory serves me correctly, okay. Well, you know what? I'll save my Yo discussion for when I get into my favorite characters portion. But pretty much that's the brief summary. That's pretty much what the story's about. Yo and his quest in the Shaman Fight, the opponents that he goes up against, many of them become his allies, some of them remain rivals, And there are other subplots in the story, such as Yo and his uncovery of his family history, in a sense. Of course, his fateful showdown with Hao, who in the English dub anime is named Zeke, and Hao is the main antagonist of the series. He's Yo's twin brother, but he's also Yo's ancestor, and I'll get into that when I discuss Hao later on in the vid. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. Straightforward. It's a grand tournament. Now, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my favorite characters, heroes and villains, and then of course my least favorite characters, heroes and villains. Favorite character, hands down, is Yo. And yeah, it is a little stereotypical, or, well, not stereotypical, but cliche that, oh, you know, the main character is your favorite character. But quite honestly, I really did like Yo. And the reason why I liked Yo is, well, number one, Yo is very nonchalant. He's very easygoing. He's very carefree, but he doesn't do it out of negligence or out of ignorance. Yo has a very unique mentality for a teenager. Yo knows when to be serious. He knows when it's time to, you know, leave all the childish bullshit behind and get to business. He understands that. He can gauge the severity of a situation. But Yo also has the unique ability to not let things get to him. Yo understands that there are things that occur in life that you really do have no control over. And Yo doesn't try to have control over those things. He just, you know, it is the way it is. This is the way things are. This is the circumstance I'm in. Okay, fine. How do I get myself out of the situation? What can I do that is actually within my grasp and within my ability to achieve to make the situation better? That's Yo's mentality. Yo has a very mature mentality for a teenager. Because unlike another shonen anime character that I want to mention, Luffy. See, when I first got into One Piece, I liked Luffy for the same reasons I like Yo. The difference is Luffy, his whole character development and the way Ichiro Oda wrote that character, it falls short of what Hiroyuki Takei did with Yo, because Luffy acts like a child all the fucking time. The only time he ever takes anything serious is when someone's getting ready to die, and then he can brush it off as if, okay, it's like, oh, look, somebody's about to die. Okay, I kicked this guy's ass. All right, back to acting like a complete ass of myself. And he never takes anything seriously for the most part. He pretends that everything is a joke. He's completely juvenile. And keep in mind, Luffy's a young adult. Luffy's like, what, 20, 21 after the time skip, some shit like that. Yo is what, 14, 15? And he's much more mature about that. So that's why I dug Yo, because he can be carefree, but he can also be serious. He just does not let the bullshit get to him. And that's not to say that Yo is always like that, because there are times in the story when Yo does experience adversity. Case in point, the Faust fight. Yo, that was his second fight. Oh, another reason why I like Yo over Luffy. The second fight that Yo has in the series, he loses. He loses because as much as Yo wanted to win against Faust, he understood that this situation was taken out of his hands. He did not have the ability to defeat Faust. He was not strong enough. You see what I'm saying? Yo, you know, that's a hump that a lot of shonen anime characters, especially nowadays, especially with the new generation, with the big three generation, those characters do not face that adversity until late into the series. Yo dealt with that in the second fight. In the second fight, he had to get over that. Matter of fact, I love how Yo is able to just roll through the punches despite all the adversity he has early on. Keep in mind, and yes, I am going into spoiler territory, but the way the Shaman fight works in the first round, you have 3 fights, and of course it works with Mortal Kombat rules. 2 fights will get you into the next round. Yo did not have 2 fights in that first round. He had 1 victory over Horo, whose English dub name is Trey. He lost against Faust, and then he tied against Ren, whose English name is Lin. He tied against Tao Ren. You see what I'm saying? And it was that actually got him into the second round, because he had 1 victory, 1 loss, and then a draw, which that draw actually gave him the boost to get into the second round. But what I'm saying is, Yo, once again, Yo dealt with this early on in the series, and he just rolled through the punches. He's like, okay, you know what? I took that loss. Fine. Tomorrow's another day. Let's correct the mistakes. You know, kind of like what I said about the Saints earlier. Okay, we lost today. Let's go back, see what the mistakes were, correct the mistakes, and make sure they don't happen again. That is Yo's whole milieu, and I absolutely love that about that character. I love him for that. Also, he's hilarious as shit. Yo has some of the best dialogue in the series. Yo is hilarious. He's nonchalantly funny. He doesn't, once again, unlike Luffy and unlike One Piece, the comedy in Shaman King is subtle. There are, you know, outrageous and outlandish comedy, but not often. Most of the comedy in Shaman King is rather subtle. Especially amongst the large cast. Now, of course, you do have the comic reliefs like Ryu. What's the other girl shaman? I forget her name. The one with the fox and the what was it? The fox and the, was he a badger? Anyway, I forget. But you know, there are the comic reliefs, and then there are, you know, the other characters. The comedy in the series is well balanced, and Yo helps that. Okay, and then my favorite villain, of course, you could probably guess, is Hao. And the reasons why I like Hao, because Hao is, for all intents and purposes, he is everything that you want in a villain. He has a mysterious past, which when uncovered is very intriguing, very interesting. I mean, that whole ancestor reincarnation thing, that was fucking cool. Also, another thing I like with Hao, he has a very strong, he has a very strong affirmation. He has a very strong belief system and sense of what he wants. He, as you all may remember from my previous discussions in my favorite heroes, favorite villains videos, I mentioned that the best villains are the ones that have a recognizable, clear-cut, objective belief system, mindset, who are steady and strong in their convictions. You know, like I mentioned earlier with, you know, like villains like Magneto, who have, you know, that worldview, or villains like Naraku, who have this idea of people and demons and shit like that. Hao is the same type of villain, where he has a very strong mindset about what he believes the world is, how he views humanity, how he views spirits, how he views other shaman, those who he consider weak and those who he consider among the elite. Hao has an elitistness about him, where he does feel like he is better than everyone else. However, he can back it up. Hao is a very powerful character. I mean, shit, I would argue he's the most powerful character in the series, because, spoiler alert, Hao wins the tournament. Another thing I like about Shaman King, very, very rarely will you see a series where the villain actually wins. Which, as you all will know, that doesn't happen in the anime. Because in the anime, Yo and the rest of his team, everyone bands together to defeat Zeke. And the Shaman fight is put on hold, and then a year or two later, it's you know, the shooting star reinitiates the whole thing. That doesn't happen in the manga. In the manga, from what I read about the manga, Hao actually does become the Shaman King. So, but yeah, I just loved Hao's whole demeanor, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke to characters who did seem like a threat to him. But he never, you know, he kept a straight face. He never let you think. Like with Yo, a lot of times with Yo, he never let Yo think that Yo actually posed a threat to him. And that's cool. That's cool. So now my least favorite characters. My least favorite characters in the series, I won't go into much detail about them, but characters like, I think Lyserg has to be my absolute least favorite character. And this is mainly because of the anime. I don't know if he's like this in the manga, but Lyserg was just way too whiny. He was way too manipulative. I know that he's young, because I think he's like 12, but he really did act too much like a child. Which, to say that, you know, all the main characters are children. You know, they're no more than teenagers, with the exception of Ryu. Ryu is an adult, Faust is an adult, but like Yo, Horohoro, Rin, Jocko, they're all teenagers. Just like Lyserg is like I said, preteen to teenager. But when you look at those characters in the first round and then you look at them in the second round, they've matured a great bit in between those two rounds. And Lyserg, yes, he doesn't get introduced until the second round, but he still acts like a child. He's very childish. And like I said, just to reiterate and get my point across, he is whiny. He is not very... He does try to be proactive, but he doesn't succeed very often, which only puts him in more of a rut. And then he's highly manipulative because he allows people to affect his emotions, to get them to do what, they want him to do. And a lot of times he acts without thinking of the consequences. So that's why I couldn't get behind Lyserg. Another character that I did like, but I also didn't like because of his portrayal. I like this character, but I didn't like the way he was portrayed, was Jogo, who in the manga, his name is Choco Love, which is a much more offensive name. Joko, I can kind of get behind that name. It's not as offensive. Actually, it's not really offensive at all. But anyway, for any of you all who are Shaman King fans, you know exactly who I'm talking about, and you know why I have a problem with this character. Because Jogo, or Choco Love, however the hell you want to call him, he is a character, he's an African-American shaman who reinforces damn near every black stereotype. I mean, not everyone, but a lot of them. The way he's portrayed, from his character design to the way he behaves, the way he speaks, the way he acts, is very stereotypical. And I didn't care for that. I was actually surprised that Hiroyuki would steep that low as to introduce a character like that. Or maybe he just didn't know any better. Keep in mind, he is Japanese. And yes, I don't know if he's ever been to America, or if I don't know if he's ever lived in America. He might not know the effects that portrayal of an African-American character would have, especially on an American audience. Because I'm pretty sure everybody in Japan just blows it off as, oh, look, it's the black guy, you know. But with all that said, he's also an adult, and he should know better, and he has to be held accountable for that. So I can't excuse him for that. He's an adult, and he's an educated one, because he is if any of you all have ever read any of his interviews, he's very well educated and he's very well read, so he should know better. And I was actually disappointed in the mangaka for that. Okay, favorite story arc. My favorite story arc would probably be the Faust fight in the first round. And because, first off, I didn't see that in the anime. I haven't seen the anime adaptation of that. I read that in the manga. And I just remember when I read it for the first time in the manga, I read it in the monthly Shonen Jump when I had my Shonen Jump subscription. Well, technically, I still do have my Shonen Jump subscription. That's not up until May. Anyway, but it was a page turner. It was a page turner. Like, I remember I just kept reading it. I couldn't put it down. It was highly suspenseful. It was that's the type. They wrote that story. The way that story was written, it kept you on the edge of your seat. You did not know what was going to happen next, and I like what they did. I like the Faust character. I like Faust. He's one of my favorite characters. I like how he was introduced. I like the background he was given, and I like the reference to the Faust story. Which, if any of you all have actually read Faust, the original Faust story, I'm a fan of that. You know, that's one of my favorite stories, and I like the reference to the original Faust story. Because I think the Faust in Shaman King is actually a descendant of the same Faust in that story. So yeah, that was my favorite story arc. My least favorite story arc would probably be, well, actually, I don't know if this is in the manga, but it's definitely in the anime. My least favorite story arc in the anime is the search for, what was the name of the village? It was, I forget the name of the village, but the site of the second round, in the anime, there are a lot of episodes. It takes Yo and the team a long time to get to the fucking village to commence the second round. And I don't know how many of those episodes were filler, but that whole little arc felt like filler. That whole fucking arc felt like filler. And we're talking about, like, I think like 6 episodes, 6 to 8 episodes where they're still looking for the fucking village. I was like, oh my god. It was just a fucking bore. It really was. Okay, now, so now to wrap this video up, because I know I'm going on like 30 minutes. Why is Shaman King my favorite? Shaman King is my favorite because Shaman King, when I got introduced to it, was what, in 2003, and I hadn't seen an anime like Shaman King because I wasn't this deep into Yu Yu Hakusho back then. But Shaman King, I like Shaman King for a lot of the same reasons why I like Yu Yu Hakusho, because of the supernatural element that it brings to the story and that it brings to the shonen anime genre. Like I said, I wasn't deep into Yu Yu Hakusho back then, so Shaman King brought a lot of that. It offered a lot of that supernatural fix for me, and I really did enjoy it. Most of the characters I do enjoy. Most of the villains I enjoy. The fights are awesome. The pacing is really well done. If you all have ever read the manga, the artwork in the manga is beautiful. And of course the theme song. I absolutely love the English dub theme song. Absolutely. So yeah, I think I'm running on like 30 minutes and my camera's getting ready to go out. So I'm gonna rush this video. I'm gonna hurry up, wrap this up. Want to thank you all for joining me again this week. Thank you all for joining me for this Anime Favorites for January 2012. Tomorrow, I will kick off my Comic Book Hollywood segment with my review of All-Star Superman. But with that said, this is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off, and until next time, peace.